Welcome back to another post game with your Bastards of Boston Baseball. I'm your host, Charlie Smith. You can find me on Twitter /X, can't say slash, Smith underscore MLB. My co host for this one is going to be Jeremy Schilling, JT Schill 20. The Boston Red Sox dropped the series against the lowly Oakland /Sacramento A's, losing 2 games of 3, including the rubber match today, 5-3. They get outscored overall 11-9, and it feels like we barely skated by winning that second game in extras. Jeremy, I don't know how you're feeling right now, but I just got to get your take on today and your overall feelings.
So as of today, I believe they are in the middle of what will be a collapse. And that's a little bit of a deviation from where I was last time I was on the show, and I'll tell you why. I understood going into the stretch run that we were going to struggle with runners in scoring position, which, by the way, is just reaching epic failures. They're so tight, no one's capable of getting the big hit. But what I kept leaning on was Crochet, Bayo, and Giolito were the strength of why we are where we are, and that they were going to continue to push us forward, and that despite the struggles on offense, that we would find a way to win games. And then Giolito can't get through 5, and Bayo, I think today only went 4. And just when your offense isn't going, you can't give up 3 in the top of the first and already be chasing it. So now my confidence is shaken in those guys, and they're each going to make about 2 starts left. And if they pitch like they did in this series, woof. Not only are we not going to make the playoffs, we're going to miss by like 3-4 games. Like, it's not going to be it's not like we're going to be in it on the last day. We're going to be eliminated. And it's just the schedule. Where the schedule was soft, and this was one of the series, we had to win it. And I'm saying that, and we'll talk about the Rays series at the end of this, but that's the last series against a non-playoff team, and then you got the Yankees and the Tigers, and that could set up for, getting steamrolled. So my expectation as I sit here right now is we are in the middle of a collapse, and it's going to have a profound effect, I believe, on the offseason and the pressure from the fan base on cheap John Henry and lying Sam Kennedy.
So there's a couple things, Jeremy, because I'm 100% with you. I mean, my win total prediction, I said was going to be 88. And right now, as it stands, the Boston Red Sox, after losing today, are 83-70. They've got 9 games to go. There's a pretty good chance we might actually get 88, 87, 89. I don't think anything in the 90s is in the realm. But this is my problem with the 3-game set, right? Your first game, you have a rookie. You have Conley early going. Gives you 5+, tries, doing everything he possibly can. You get 1 extra base hit. Only 1 player had more than 1 hit, and that was Trevor Story. A couple of singles. He had 3 in total. Also stole 2 bases. Set a major league record for most consecutive stolen bases without getting caught. And then he breaks that record and sets that in the second game. Again, one of 3 people with multi-hits. Only 1 extra base hit. Again. Giolito, horrible, just doesn't get it done. And then in game 3 again, only, outside of him, Eaton had multi-hit performance. But it's basically Trevor Story and friends, and the team is not going to be able to sustain that. You've got Bayo, who you've got to get good innings from. You've got to get 5-6 innings, allowing no more than 1 or 2 runs. You're overtaxing this bullpen. And overall, after everything is said and done, this cannot be a team that you lose 2 games out of 3. You can't afford to be that team. Oakland's not great. Like, you're looking at this team, you're looking at this lineup, and it's not scary. And we're getting absolutely embarrassed. And yes, Trevor Story, 2 throwing errors today. Brutal. I don't remember the last time I saw him muffed twice in 1 game. But he also had a double. He also had a home run late in the game. But you're right. You can't afford to go down 3-0. And Rooker's a banger. He's going to do work. But you can't afford to go down 3-0 in the first inning. You just can't. This isn't a team that can muster up runs later on in the game. You scored 1 run in the first one. That's it. You scored 8 over the last 2, and you barely won the second game. It took extra innings for you to get it done. To say collapse, I think would be polite. There's a fair shot that we don't get there. As it stands right now with this team, the other games that you have to be mindful of are the New York Yankees. You have to be mindful about the Cleveland Guardians. And here's the thing. New York is winning 7-0 in the 7th inning against Baltimore, another really, really bad team. Oakland is in 4th place in the AL West, and you're barely making the games watchable. You can't afford to make dumb mistakes against bad teams. And that's where we're at right now. You're playing bad baseball, you're making poor decisions, and you're getting absolutely exposed. The Boston Red Sox have been a 500, sub 500 team over the last 16 games. You're 7-9 over the last 16. You should not be losing 2 games of 3 to Oakland, or excuse me, the Athletics. It's unacceptable. It's an absolute sham. I mean, I have no words. There was something that I read today that the Boston Red Sox are one of the higher teams as far as teams that are making a profit right now. The Boston Red Sox are making a $120 million profit. You saved money by trading Devers. Yeah, you took on some crap contracts. I get it. Fair play. You have got to invest that money going into 2026. You can't buy any more players. I think they're going to be then this isn't going to be a watchable product. It just won't.
He won't. He's not going to do it. Sorry to cut you off. He won't.
No, no. I mean,
and look, I mean, I've been saying it literally all year. I rejoined the podcast in the early part of last season. I've been saying it. And then he goes and trades Devers to get that $300 million off the books. And guys, there's for me, I've accepted it. You know, John Henry's not going to spend money. I don't know if this is the show to talk about the offseason, probably not. But if your expectation is that because he's one of the top profitable franchises in Major League Baseball that he's going to invest that money, he's not going to. He's given you no indication he's going to do it. He's not going to go sign a veteran. The model is to buy out young players, arbitration years, and hope they're superstars. That's the model. So, you know, maybe signing Marcelo Mayer, if he's still here, would be a contract that you would expect, but that's what you're going to get. But let me go back to the game, and specifically this season. And the lineup's banged up. Roman Anthony is trending to be a great all-around offensive player, a plus defender. The contract, in my opinion, is fantastic. You pull him out of the lineup, it's a problem. But it goes to show the lack of depth in this roster. Yoshida's hitting cleanup in this series, 2 of the 3 games. A guy that has not hit the ball out of the ballpark all year in the biggest games of the season is hitting 4th. And you can just tell by the way he's approaching the at-bat. He's not looking to drive the ball. He's essentially looking to put the ball in play. If we don't have the power in the middle of the lineup and we're not playing aggressive baseball where we're bunting, hitting and running, we're sending guys. Duran, I thought, had plenty of opportunities. He's on base yesterday 4 times. Run, bro. Like, I don't mind getting thrown out at second on a bang-bang play, going and try to put pressure on the defense. Everyone's standing around waiting for the 2-out RBI double, and it isn't coming. There's no one hitting the ball out of the ballpark. Who would have guessed Hamilton today? You know, but again, it's a solo shot. It gets you the run. It gets you within 2 at the time, but it's not damage. This team needs to go back to the athletic style of play where they're putting pressure on the defense. Bregman is, and he hit the ball well in game 2 of the series. He hit 3 atom balls, and that's tough. And, those balls are 1 foot either way, and you have a double and the game's, but that's just not the way this team's going right now. So, the shuffling of Durant all over the lineup, like it's just, it goes and look, I get what Core's doing, and I don't blame him. He's trying to find a combination that works. And it goes to the desperation of when he sits down to write a lineup card, his options. When has Refsnyder ever gotten at bats against right-handed pitching? Never. And Terry was here. He'd say something about the platoon dynasty, but you don't have a choice. So now Refsnyder, who is as good as he is against lefties, not great against righties, he's now in a spot where he's got to hit right-handed hitting, and he's a different offensive player against righties. So, I mean, that's all to say, and I'm going to do it really briefly. The trade deadline was a massive failure to plug holes, to create meaningful depth. And obviously we didn't have the forecast to know we were going to get Nathaniel Lowe, but it's just the cheap John Henry and Lion Sam Kennedy have struck again. And and this may be something that, I get a little chirping in the comments here, but I don't blame Cora. He's given a broken roster with holes all over the place, trying to put it together to give himself a chance to win. And then I mentioned earlier, guys you've relied on all year, Giolito and Bayo, have not been good. So, I mean, I don't know where the offense is going to come from, Charlie. I don't. Duran's not hitting the ball out of the yard, and that's not really who he is anyways. Bregman, he's swinging the bat a little bit better, but I know he had at least 1 hit today, but he's not hitting for any power. And then you have guys like Hamilton in the lineup. Rafaela, who had a single, I believe, today, but he's not hitting for any power. Like, there's nowhere to expect it from. And the failures with runners in scoring position have been a problem it's not a recent problem. It's been a problem for a while, but man, they, and I've said it this way all year, they're one of the worst situationally offensive teams I can remember. That's a competing team. They can't put quality at bats together when it matters most. And it's really just, it's to the point now where it's bases loaded, 0 outs. And I've literally said, I wonder how they're going to fail here. And then they do. I mean, that's where my mindset at. It's why now with the pitching going the other way, we're in the middle of a massive collapse.
Yeah. I mean, a couple of points that I want to bring up too. I mean, obviously we have a couple of comments, this one coming from Johnny. Everyone's trying to be a power hitter. Absolutely valid. We have another one here where it's terrible situational hitting, 100%, And then, of course, most recently from George, agree this roster was poorly constructed. Here are some other things that, these are the only bits that I have to add because otherwise you've hit the nail right on the head. Cedar Rafaela is struggling so bad. He's hitting 130 for the month. Outside of his 1 game against Cleveland, he had a home run and 4 RBIs. He has no RBIs in the month of September. And outside that game, he has 3 runs scored from someone who we were depending on to be a banger, like a really, really heavy piece to the puzzle, like a big piece. On top of that, you mentioned Yoshida batting in the 4 hole. He has 2 home runs this year. One against San Diego, against an actual reliever, and the other against former Rocket, Roger Clemens' son, against the Twins. So he has 1 home run against a position player and 1 home run against a reliever. Both late inning home runs in games that were already decided. There was no pressure for him. It blows my mind that you don't have a strong power hitter or someone that you can consistently count on in your 4 hole. When I think of consistent power, I think of Yoshida. I don't, and I don't think anybody does. So at this point, as unfortunate as it is for Cora, I think at this point you have to say, he's been dealt a really bad hand. He's doing the best he can with what he's got. When Roman Anthony went down, I think Chris was the person that said in the group, we're in trouble. We're really screwed. And everyone like hounded him and started giving him, crap because we thought, oh, come on, this is just fluff. This is BS. But it's actually pretty valid. And now your point of it being the collapse, I mean, what else would you call it? I mean, you're within a couple games of the division. Forget about the division at this point. It ain't happening. I mean, it's embarrassing. We're 6 games out. Toronto's lost a couple. We've lost several. The Yankees are starting to do well. Seattle is just on another planet. I mean, they've been absolutely on fire. And I think it's we're now going from what I thought was going to be the floor is going to be the second wild card spot. And now I've now shifted to I'm hoping that we can get the third wild card spot because I don't think we're going to be able to outdo Houston right now. We're completely playing flat baseball. There's nothing sexy about this team right now, and it's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking to see teams like Cleveland and Texas who were nowhere a couple weeks ago. Now Cleveland's won 7 in a row. They're 9-1 over their last 10. They're 10 games over 500. They find themselves 1.5 games behind the Red Sox for the third wild card spot. That means by the next series, there's a good chance Cleveland could be in the 3 slot and we could get knocked out. At this point right now, if I see the Boston Red Sox in the playoffs, I'm not going to say, oh yeah, I called it. It was, you guys performed at an incredible level. I'm super thankful for it, but you guys are going to get bounced in the wild card series. You'll lose 2-0. I don't think you're going to win a wild card game right now because this is a team that's skating by, barely getting in there, and that's it. And people can say whatever they want right now, but you're depending on Conley Early, who has minutes of major league experience because and Chris, when you hear this, I 100% disagree with you. Garrett Crochet is your best pitcher in the rotation. I don't know how you're touting that Bayo. You trust Bayo over him right now. There is absolutely no one else I want touching that baseball if I have him as an option, period. But outside of him, who else do you trust? Conley Early? That's your 2 guy that you trust? That sucks. Like, I love Conley Early. I love what he brings, but you want to talk about an unfair amount of pressure. It's like the amount of pressure that we placed on Brian Bayo when he joined the Boston Red Sox. He was getting torched, but we had nobody else. He was not a starter at the major league level for any other team in baseball except for the Boston Red Sox. And here we are doing it again to ourselves because we're not investing in the product. So, yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Boston Red Sox in 3 games could find themselves out of the playoffs and then not getting back in. And if they win the last 3 games of the year and you find yourself 1 game out, congratulations. You did all that work to miss the playoffs. It's heartbreaking.
Another issue with the roster construction, because look, I think a lot of this collapse that I think we're all witnessing is a young club gripping the bat too tight. Putting too much pressure on basic plays because there aren't veterans that have won intermingled into this lineup except for Bregman, Chapman, and maybe Nathaniel Lowe. So the veterans, if you want to call them that, are Wong, Refsnyder, Duran, Romy, guys who've been around a little bit. None of them have won. The one guy that's in the everyday lineup that you can look to is Bregman, and he's really not producing. He's not pulling you through the rough times. And so I fully expect them to play tight, and it's not going to help. Today we saw Wong throw a ball into center field. Thank God Rafaela was already coming up to back up Story, who was covering the bag. And so when the ball went into center field, the throw was not close, by the way. It didn't even touch Story. He was there and the runner didn't advance, but I'm still like, this is back to June Red Sox. It's Mickey Mouse Little League nonsense. And then I think in the same inning, Story fields a ball and throws it into the dugout. So some of that stuff to me is the tightness with which this roster is responding to the moment down the stretch as a little bit of adversity hits. So again, I go back to the roster. And I'm not talking now about holes. I'm not talking about Yoshida hitting in the lineup. I'm talking about where's the intermingling of veteran players to support the younger guys. Instead, Cheap John Henry and Sam Kennedy have decided to go complete youth movement. And then what? Should be surprised that this is happening. So, I mean, and look, I understand that's why you went and got Bregman, but
Right.
like, think of the teams that have won in Boston. It's you have young guys. I remember the year Bogarts had to go to third, um,
Right.
but that's because you had a leader at shortstop. You had a guy that had been there, who's at the end of his career. I can't remember off the top of my head who it was, but I'm picturing him. And I'm not going to go through every team, right? Because you could do it from every sport. Basketball, you have your superstars, but the role guys are veterans that have been there before. You don't rely on rookies and expect to go compete. And that's why I felt it was so important. And the guys and girls that listen routinely know I've said this. You know, I needed them. I still do want them to get into the playoffs so that this doesn't happen again next year, so that they've been through it. We've got the roster has to become more experienced. It's so young. It's so inexperienced in these moments. This is really the first time that Duran, Romy, Refsnyder, Wong, we could talk about Weiser and guys in the bullpen that have been there for a few years. No, this is the first time, and this is the response. No one should be, overly surprised. I'm surprised it's going to hell in a handbasket as fast as it is, because this is just off the rails right now. But if they expect to ascend and be there next year, they got to figure this thing out and play at least meaningful baseball all the way to the last day of the year.
You talked about the veteran leadership piece, and that's the part that's like missing now. I feel like Bregman was that person, and then it just disappeared. I'm curious to know, what's the Boston Red Sox record since the comments came out about Bregman seeking a 5-year deal or 7-year deal or whatever it was, exceeding
Not good.
170 million.
Right? I don't
Whatever the
know
record
the
is.
numbers,
Right.
But they're not good.
Right. But that's when he went from veteran leader that people looked up to what are you doing? Like, is this coming from you or your agent? Because the amount of pressure that he's put himself on is insane. He's now hitting under 200. He's got 1 home run and 6 RBIs for the month. He's only had 1 home run, and it was against the Yankees. It took a month for him to do it. Like it's just.
For the record, I'm on record saying that didn't come from Bregman.
I hope not. I really hope not.
I think it's the agent trying to drum up what the market is, so they know how to handle the opt-out provision once the 10-day window opens. But I could be
wrong. It's brutal. Let's get into this upcoming series, because otherwise we're going to be sitting here crying. That's kind of where the Red Sox are right now. So this upcoming series that the Red Sox have, this is the next one. We got Tampa Bay. It's going to be starting tomorrow. You got Crochet, Rasmussen, Harrison against Hauser, and Conley early against Pepio. I've already got my predictions. What do you think the Red Sox are going to do?
They're going to lose the series. I like to think they're going to win the Crochet start. He's got a lot of pressure on him tomorrow. Again, another guy as good as he is, as tough and physical, and all the things that go into what make him an absolute superstar. The entire season is kind of like hang in here, and it's his job to fix it. And, he can only do so much, but starting with tomorrow, he has to be really, really good. And I hate to say this because this just adds pressure to Crochet, but I would think that his mindset is this has to be a shutout for us to win the game because we're not hitting.
Yeah.
And so I can't believe I'm about to say this. I would not be shocked if he doesn't pitch well tomorrow because of the way this team's going, the pressure on him tomorrow, the fact that, he's never been in this situation before.
Right.
It's a tough spot to put that much weight on one guy, but that's what they're doing by their play. And so I would not be surprised if he came out, gave up a couple of early, and we just can't get back in it.
Hauser's been doing okay as of late. Nothing crazy, but we're going to see Harrison make his debut in the second game. I think Crochet is going to win that game. I don't think he's going to get the decision, but you got Conley early against Pepio, and that's going to be a deciding game because right here, you have to clock it and say, if the Red Sox don't win this series, at that point, I think they're out of the playoffs. You have to win this series. You have to win.
Well, you're not going to
really,
go win 5 of 6 from the Tigers and the Yankees. That's not going to happen.
Blue Jays. You got
I'm
Blue
sorry.
Jays and Tigers. No, that's okay. We just had the New York series, but yeah, no, you got to win 2 out of 3. I mean, at this point, if you don't win 2 out of 3, that this is over. Pack it up, man. It's curtains. You have to win 2 out of 3. Win Crochet Gay, and then split the rest of the series. There's really nothing else you can say. There's no
What can you
excuses.
expect from Harrison in Game 2?
Give me 5 innings. I don't care if if you allow 2-3 runs, I understand. But I mean, ideally 5 innings, 2-3 runs, maybe 4 or 5 strikeouts, 1-2 walks, something, average. Nothing crazy, nothing blow you out of the water, but 5 innings, probably 75, 80 pitches. I'm going to say 4 strikeouts, 2 walks, 3 earned on 5 hits. Average performance.
They've coddled him.
100%.
He pitched out of the bullpen. And then the coddling comes back and kicks you right in the ass because now he's got to start the 8th to last game of the year. And even if Crochet goes lights out and they win tomorrow, now that pressure that was on Crow is on Harrison, who's been pitching in AAA. If he can get through one time through the lineup, that's my expectation for him, given the spot the team is putting him in. So that's a tough spot, man. It's just a tough spot.
Well, I'll say this much, man. I mean, I think after Game 1, everything's going to be. I mean, if you lose Game 1, curtains. That's just going to be the case. I mean, the Boston Red Sox have to win Game 1. That's it. We're finally at that point. So hopefully the Red Sox get it done. I mean, I know we say go Red Sox, but we can only say that so many times before we're like disappointed. For anybody that is interested in some interesting written articles, bastardsofbostonbaseball.com is where you're going to want to go. Perhaps you'll see something that you haven't thought of before. Maybe there's something that you want to comment and talk about, and then we'll be able to bring it on the next show. But for Jeremy and myself, it's been a great one.